Many thanks to Jerb, Jaren, DayZ Podcast, Taggy's Tag West, Great Poncho and Black Knight for making this video possible. The AUG is finally back in DayZ, and this time around it doesn't have a fixed optic, allowing it to compete heavily with the big boy guns. So in this video we're going to be breaking down how the AUG performs and see how it lines up against the mighty M4. Known as the AUG, or as this drunk German robot lady puts it,
Armee-Universalgewehr,
which translates as Universal Army Rifle. However, the AUG in DayZ is also known as the AUG, but I'm just going to call it the AUG. The AUG spawns in military locations and can be compared to the M4 for its stats, but mostly because of the same ammo type that they use, the 5.56s, and because they were competing weapons back when DayZ ran on the older engine. However, this version of the AUG has a Picatinny rail system like the M4, and as a result allows all optics that the M4 can have, with the exception of the carry handle and the backup iron sights, making it much more of a contender for one of the best weapons in DayZ. The other attachments are all of the magazines that attach to the M4 and the M16, including the newly added AUG magazine, which strangely doesn't fit into the M4 or the M16, but maybe that's yet to be added. The other attachments are the ghillie weapon wrap, the improvised suppressor, the M4 suppressor, and this little side rail here can have the universal flashlight, which is very cool. Now, one of the most unique features about the AUG, at least this particular one, is the canted iron sights, zeroing from 50 to 300 meters. However, you cannot switch from an optic attached on your weapon to the canted sights. The AUG has semi-auto, burst fire, and full auto fire mode, accompanied by this new sound for switching between fire modes now. Compared to the M4, the AUG does 11% more damage per shot, making it capable of one-shotting infected at close range, unlike the M4, and in my opinion making it a much better weapon for infected detail. Here are the reload animations of the AUG. The AUG is short compared to similar weapons and won't raise until literally inside a wall, yet it's the same size as the M4 in the inventory, 8x3 slots. Unlike the M4 though, the recoil of the AUG gets pulled to the right, making it much more difficult to control considering that both weapons produce roughly the same amount of recoil. However, where the AUG falls really short of the M4 is that the AUG fires at 600 RPM like the M4 used to, because the M4 in this patch now fires at an incredible 900 RPM like the FAMAS. This means the M4 does 50% more damage compared to last patch, while having the same amount of recoil as the AUG because the M4 allows attachments like the buttstock and the handguard, making the M4 a far superior weapon over the AUG, because the AUG's extra damage of 11% extra per shot over the M4 simply doesn't compare. In nearly all other fields, the AUG compares very nicely to the M4, but due to their damage differences, the more informed player will be switching to the M4 as soon as possible. They will be dropping the AUG, they will be picking up the M4. It's better in almost every way. Which is funny for me to say because I said the exact same thing 7 years ago when the AUG was first added to DayZ standalone, just in a much slower and more monotone voice. Because of this and the fact that you can't zero up or down with the AUG, I only see the AUG being picked up while a player is searching for the M4A1 and optimal parts. To conclude here, the AUG is one of the better weapons in the game and any survivor will be very happy wielding it, but there are better weapons out there. Let's all just be happy that we can customize the optic on this one. Speaking of which, there was another AUG added in this patch which I'll be comparing to this AUG and other weapons in a similar video. I'll include the link to that video below or in the top right corner of this video. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day.